I got your wig, ho. Ha ha. You're mad. Miss Wig. I got your wig, ho. I got your wig, ho. Miss Wigiana.
Simple. I mean, race only comes out
Break it down
for other people. We've always been black. We don't think about it. It just is. But other people want us to address, you know, is it racism? Do you think it's racism? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and it's just crazy.
You don't think it's racist if somebody turns to the leader of the free country and says, can you park my car?
Well, I'll tell you this. Remember when this one was looking at her sister on the thing?
Yeah.
She couldn't tell the difference. And I said to her, what? Oh, so it turns out that white people can't tell each other apart either. So it's really about people.
When we talk about racism, we have to understand that it's systemic, though, Whoopi. It is a system.
You guys need to know what real racism is. You need to know what racism is. Racism is when somebody comes up die. That's racism.
Yeah.
But we know that. But the difference is, I go into Brooks Brothers. My mother will go into, when it used to go into a place, and they would follow her around. Now, do I think it's racist? No, I just think you're ignorant. You think everybody that walks in, you think if they don't look like they have a lot of money? We just saw recently that two white people with looking very rich walked in and stole a $135,000 coat. So the issue is, you better look at each other as an individual.
But we don't.
But the reasons we're following black folks and people of color in stores is because of implicit bias. Implicit bias is basically based on the whole system that we've all been taught. Every single American has all been taught that certain people, and black folks, because a lot of the cops who are shooting down innocent black folks are also people of color. So we are all in this system where we've internalized these ideas about folks of color.
Yes.
And so the work is to examine those implicit biases and to see and they affect in ways in which we interact with each other, and also public policy. So yes, it is racist when black folks are followed around stores and profiled in certain ways. It is
having
racist.
Watched people, no, it's listen. I've been black for 60 years. Okay, I've been black for 60 years.
Yeah.
For me, stupidity. There are dumb folks who just say dumb stuff because they're not looking or paying attention to the person they're talking to, which is why people can walk up to Obama and not look up at him and see that it's the freaking president.
But that's subconscious racism. I'm sorry. If me and Rosie were going into a store together,
they would follow your behind too.
They would follow me and not her. When my sister and Carmen and I were in San Antonio, we are in an exclusive hotel. We're in an exclusive VIP lounge. There are millions of people up in that, right? We walk in and they ask my sister Carmen to clean the table.
Yeah.
Okay? There was
so you think the lady walked up and said because she's a Hispanic woman, or because she just assumed that all Hispanic people who are in there can't afford to be there? Is it ridiculousness or is it racist?
It's racist.
See, I don't think
it's both.
I don't see it. I just see it as stupid. I just see it as stupid.
Do you all think that we live in a racist country?
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Okay, see, I think a country that elects an African-American president twice, I don't think every American is racist.
That doesn't allow him to do one thing.
Right?
Grew up and nobody knew him. Nobody knows who he is until later in his life. The whole thing is very strange. What are you driving at there? Are you a Bertha, Donald?
Okay. Let me just tell you. I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? I think he probably...
have to?
Because I have to, and everybody else has to, Whoopi.
I'm sure
why
that you
wouldn't
can't
he show... Excuse me. Why? No, excuse me. I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why... Look, she's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? And you know what? I wish he would, because I think it's a terrible pall that's hanging over him. He should show his birth certificate. The other thing, if you go back to my first grade, my kindergarten, people remember me. Nobody from those early years.
That's not true. We have pictures of them. What are you talking about?
Okay, show me a picture.
There are kids in Hawaii. There are people in Hawaii. There are people that he's grown up. No, as little kids.
I haven't seen early pictures. But more importantly, why doesn't he And you know what? I think he probably was, but the word probably would be.
Why did he have to defend himself against?
You know why?
Against an accusation.
Because if you're going to be the president, because if you're going to be the president of the United States, it says very profoundly that you have to be born in this country.
But did any other president do that? Did George Bush
cannot be the president?
Why would he want this hanging over him if it's
Probably
true?
he was.
No one has ever asked George Bush or said to George Bush, I'm sorry, is Hawaii not part of the United States?
George Bush. And I'm not saying I was a fan of George Bush.
No.
You know that better than anybody. But George Bush was born in this country. That's right.
Isn't Hawaii still part of the United States?
Am
I gone?
Do you question whether he was or not because he hasn't come forward with it?
I grew up in New York. Wall Street was a big part. I have seen fraud, and I have seen scandal, and I have seen things that a lot of people don't see. I've seen people take a $100 bill and make it $1 million bill.
We're going to have to pause. Get to the point.
Okay, the point is, I can't rely on some newspaper that they show
in order to become president of the United States, in order to
I
get
want
a
him to
driver's
show his
license,
birth certificate. I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh, my God.
That's a terrible
that is
thing
just
to say.
Whoopi, I'm telling
He
you.
was 3 pounds.
Whoopi, I love you. I'm telling
I love
you.
you, too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
The question is then why not show it, right?
There's something on his birth certificate he doesn't want to show.
It's not because he's black.
Let him show. Has nothing to do with it.
Because I've never heard
nothing
any
to
white
do with it.
president ask to be shown the birth certificate. When you become a president of the United States of America, you know that he's
Let him
American.
show
I'm
his
sorry,
birth
that's
certificate.
Are you
BS.
saying that it just only
Guys,
lets people have doubt
do you
and
want to talk
it
at all
shouldn't be
about the
there?
apprentice?
Doesn't matter. It's doing great.
Good,
The
then we
ratings are
won't
through the
do it.
roof. This is boring.
I will point something out, and I'm reluctant to do it, but I have to, and that is this. When we showed that piece of him with the microphone yesterday, it bothered me all day, and I couldn't figure out why, and I figured it out this morning. I don't want to hear any more parents out there nervous about what their children are being taught, frightened by drag queens reading books to your kids. If what you saw him do did not disgust you enough to protect your kids, I don't want to hear from you anymore. You know? And you were at that rally. Well, I just felt like, you know what? All of that mishigas about we're concerned about our children, and not a peep out of anybody. Not the evangelicals, not the mothers against whatever. None of us.
Rubio,
and I just thought, so that's okay with you, but somebody who's encouraging your kid to read is not.
Right. Bill, you were just trying to get away from the infestation.
I wasn't being rude to anybody.
I think you were. I think you were being rude to Bill. I really do.
Do you think that Whoopi was rude to Bill?
You are, Bill.
You called him Papa Bear. Why?
Because like a bear, he's huge and could tear your head off.
Honestly, your honest opinion about what went
Well, because I'm on your show, I agree with Whoopi. I think there should be mosques everywhere. I think this would make a good mosque. The studio would make a lovely mosque. We're facing east, aren't we?
If he had even made that much sense, I would have probably been able to
you
handle
understand,
him.
Bill's talking about emotion. Bill was not talking about what the facts were. Bill was talking about what felt right.
Right.
And it feels wrong. That's what rally's about.
Right for
it
me?
feels wrong.
But isn't it right for me to get up?
I am leaving right now. Forget it.
If your name is Watermelon Andrea, it's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna hire you.
That's not their fault.
I would be such a beautiful King Kong cliche, by the way. I'm letting you guys know. But no, is that me?
You know
is that me?
White people tend to name their children after fruits and vegetables. I have a few Apple of Gwyneth Paltrow's kid. Yep. Then there's Poppy, Honey, Rosie Oliver.
To us. Well, I say it adios, America.
I say adios, America.
Right. What it means is that
It's lovely in the. Some people fight. Some people. Were you talking about the talk? Who are you talking about, Star?
It was inspired by all of my experiences on daytime television.
Yeah.
And I always like to say every character is based on someone or inspired by someone I either was interviewed by, I prosecuted, etc.
Cut to the chase. Who's playing me?
Well, actually, I can tell you now that it is a guarantee. VH1 has greenlit the series.
Got a
so
series.
2017, they're making Satan
Good for
Sisters
you.
on
Joy
TV.
play herself?
No, well, we're right in the middle of the casting. I'm so excited to be working with Suzanne DePass and Sony Television.
Hey, Suzanne.
Yes, she told me to tell you hello.
Hi.
And for the character that is essence of joy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you really want somebody who is smart, funny,
Beautiful.
stunning, as you would say, stunning. You don't think Amy Schumer meets Maya Rudolph.
I'm sorry, I can't do it. I know you're trying to get me to do it. I can't do it.
And honestly, it was coming out of my mouth. It was coming.
I don't know that you can.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you a fact. Let me tell you a fact. The fact is.
I was going to say, like, reading this article, the real issue here is that these boys can just go home and, like, turn on the internet, turn on their computers, and just watch porn. It's so easily...
They can watch it in their hand.
They sure can. I didn't say anything.
No.
There are so many ways... there are just so many ways where...
I missed it. Keep going.
I'm powering through what's happening right now.
That's very good.
Okay. No, there are just so many ways that boys can find sexuality. So if the girls aren't wearing uniforms, they're going to go... First of all, boys are going to sexualize women no matter what. It doesn't matter if they come out in a full-length skirt, like Blossom back in the day.
Very backwards cultures. No, our social programs are for the American poor. They are for
Let me just point out to you that you're
for
sitting
the
at this
American
table
working
next
class.
to two immigrants, and I don't think either of us qualify as poor maids. But I wanted to ask you, what's your family's
but that's
immigration
what most
story? Are you
are.
a Native American?
Why, yes, I am. I'm a settler.
The Miss Universe pageant on Sunday, the winner, Sosi Bini Tunzi. I said that right?
I don't know.
That's her name. She's the Miss South Africa. She said, I grew up in a world where a woman who looks like me with my kind of skin and my kind of hair was never considered beautiful. So, do her words resonate with you at all?
In case you didn't know, sometimes, yes. And, it's wonderful to see our country and our world move ahead in this affirmative move towards sort of breaking down barriers and not being afraid of the other, not being afraid because somebody's, he's mixed race or it's a she. We had a great choice of this man or this woman or, we just had all these choices. And then to be in a state like California, which everybody knows it's full of fruits and nuts, right? You think that, we have a certain reputation out there in California, and to see, to actually see human rights be up for a vote in this Proposition 8, and to have people vote to take away rights is, to me, at the core, is very un-American.
Do you feel, does it make you more pessimistic?
Briefly, what we're talking about. We're talking about Proposition 8. Yeah. We're talking about when this summer in June, when the California Supreme Court said, yes, indeed, it is against the Constitution to deny families the same equal protection under the law as other families. And so they allowed us to get married, and 18,000 couples got married.
Gay couples.
Gay couples. Yeah. And then the opposition put on the ballot wordings that would change the Constitution. But it was very hard to see when that passed. And it passed by such a small margin, and there's
people who were married lost their right to be married?
Yeah.
So people that were... so I just was thinking, does it make you more pessimistic? Because people would think if it's not going to pass there first, where is it going to pass?
Well, you know what happened is a huge outcry came up from that. People, I'm finally seeing people actually making the case for marriage equality everywhere. It's not so much just in the gay community anymore. It's actually out. I mean, I sat here and I watched you guys talk about it, and Whoopi, you spoke so clearly, and I appreciate the conversation you had. I was a little I was saddened with your conversation only because I felt you misleaded people when you started to talk about a Swedish priest that was put in jail because he wouldn't marry somebody.
We were simply presenting the fact that some people did vote with that in their mind, and that was an issue being brought up. Certainly, we're not in California. I didn't vote on Prop 8. I wasn't there. I'm a person who does believe that, if you want to compliment our democracy and saying, yes, we've got together and voted on a president, and this is who it is, hurrah, and you can't say then, look at that system of democracy and then also call it a failure in the same breath. So I think, look, it should come from the people, and it's not a personal thing for me.
But that's actually
we were just presenting what some people felt.
Actually, one of the things that was difficult about this was that Thomas Jefferson wrote a paper on the rights of the minority should never be voted on by the direct democracy, by the majority. That should never happen.
Rights should be equal. I think it's got to be more. Do you think it's about the word, Melissa? Do you think it's about the word marriage?
Yes, because
more than the rights.
It denotes a certain religion, and believe me, I don't want anything to do with anybody's religion at all. It's about equal protection under the law. My family, my children. It's about children and people. So you're saying you're for gay marriage?
Look,
or same-sex marriage?
For me, it's not a personal issue. For me, it's just a legal issue. I think that it should come from the people. I don't think activist judges should be deciding what's right for the rest of the country.
Okay, but you're saying it should come from that the majority should vote on the minority?
Look, we've had mistakes in the past, though. I agree that where people...
We have experienced many decades now of having agency over our body, of being able to determine when and how many children to have. We know what that feels like. We know what that's done for our lives. We're not going back. I don't care what the laws are. We're not going back.
Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Well,
it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a miraculous... What did you say?
Murder.
She's kidding. Wait a second. She's just kidding.
Don't say that. That's
you don't know. They'll pick up on that and just run with it.
That's the worst.
She's just kidding.
Well, let me talk to you about...
Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
It's about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
Ew. Like JK, but like maybe not. But thank you for watching. But you hating ass bitches always have something to say. Hating ass bitch, but you're still watching my vids. What? You're so upset. But that's like okay, because have a piece of bread, have a Xanax, relax, because I said what I said.